Dylan, uh, I'm going to start the stream off with a question to you. Did we
Yeah.
fly too close to the sun? Is this an Icarus moment? We all got so excited, with Maddie Beniers. What do you think?
Yeah, this was it was something. I don't even know really what to say other than yeah, they're no longer in Seattle. That's
Yep.
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just mention the text I sent you. It's you and your family's fault for not going out to Minnesota and attending this game. Clearly, that's what was working. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
To which I replied, you didn't exactly, expense us out there either. So
Yes. I suppose that is my fault there. I need to open up the wallet for the greater good of everyone. See if we can
yeah,
crowdfund Dylan's travel there.
I know. No, I'm sitting here in my grandpa's office, and next to me is a UCLA health little magazine thing saying worried about senior moments. But let me tell you, I wish I had one right now so I forget this game.
Yeah, that just about covers it. um,
Mhm.
Obviously a
Yeah,
strong first period. The underlying numbers were actually nearly even. I think the Wild had a slight edge and kind of shot attempts, things like that. But the Kraken were finishing and they just had the energy. They looked like the same team early on. Second period, complete disaster, and then third period, decent response from Seattle.
yeah. I almost wonder if it was just they got off to a hot start again, and they were like, "Oh, well, we handled Colorado just fine when this happened," and then they just got overconfident and they started resting on their laurels a little bit because that's what it looked like to me. Because they just decided to completely forget how to play defense entirely, and really they just lacked effort.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a good observation. I mean, they looked like a team that was kind of taking a lot of everything defensively for granted. Which
Mhm.
they played so well against Colorado, did such a good job shutting them down. But I think what you have to remember is that took a lot of work. Shift in, shift out. That took
Yeah,
work the entire game, and it's not going to come easy. That's just a lesson the team needs to learn. And I'm kind of excited to see, where it goes for the next game because they play again tomorrow, and it's a lesson they can learn really quickly.
yeah, no, they have to bounce back. Obviously, we saw Hackstall made the decision, we threw in there, keep Drieger ready to go for that one. I
Yep.
think that was the right decision because by the time it was obvious you needed to pull Gru out of there, the game was over. The writing was on the wall. You were not going to salvage this thing at all. That was just not going to happen tonight. Realistically, from about halfway through the second period, it was just Matty B watch. Is he going
Yes.
to get a point this one? And thankfully, he did. That streak going up to 5 games, but that was essentially all that was left. And I have a feeling, based on what I was seeing on Twitter, that's really all any of us were there for at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was kind of the only thing, worthwhile in there in that third period. But good for him. I mean, keeping the point streak going.
Yeah,
On the power play, too. It shows kind of the extra dimension that he brings, which is
yeah.
something that can definitely
He's got
carry
that.
forward.
Yep, got that rocket of a wrister. Um, I mean, what can I officially say he's the best player on the team now?
Go
Like, how
for it.
long do I have to wait? Like, I've been like kind of tempering myself, a little bit as we've been talking about it. I'm sure it's been obvious to everybody that like I keep wanting to say it, but I'll say, well, he's one of the top couple of guys, whatever. But the bottom line is, he is better at the sport of hockey than just about anybody else on this team. Like, it's just truth in
Yeah.
every facet of the game. The way
Yeah.
he can steal pucks in the neutral zone we saw tonight, like he's what we're here to watch right now. That's for sure.
Exactly.
Um, all right, so we'll move on over to chat now. Be interesting to hear everybody's takes there. Start us off right. We got Hunter. Mike's PK defense in general were atrocious. Bruce seemed off, and Maddie is a future super. Definitely point is a future or current superstar. Argue 5 game point streak to start off your career kind of puts you into that segment there a little bit. The PK and the defense. So obviously the defense was terrible. Nobody knew what was going on. Everybody see what I was talking about with Kale Fleury tonight? just kind of loses guys behind him like all the time. It's
Yep.
kind of an issue and a problem for him. Um, and then the PK. So obviously Minnesota gets the 3 power play goals on their first 3 attempts, and the big thing about that was, and I was talking about this on Twitter, their player movement is so sneaky and deceptive, and the Kraken just played right into it every time.
Yeah, they did. I mean, it's something that they kind of struggled to adjust to, certainly. But yeah, you look at the player movement, and especially when they had the extra man on the power play. I mean, you could see there was just no answer for it.
No, and it was like, Joel Eriksson Ek is playing the point, and then where does he score that first power play goal? From right in front. You know what I mean? But it was not obvious. He didn't come charging down into the slot or anything. Like, it was just as they move the puck over here, you're not paying attention to what the, left hand's doing over here, and that's everybody swapping spots. And I just thought that was very interesting, and it goes to show you, the Kraken were trying to keep them to the perimeter, and the Minnesota Wild were willing to do that because it meant that they could get behind them. And that is a thing you got to pay attention to. And I also wanted to point it out because that's something I'd love to see the Kraken do next season. Is go ahead and do stuff like that. It shows that you can get a little more creative with a 1-3-1 if you try.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's something you'd like to see maybe them emulate really quick. Yeah, it looks like your image is kind of freezing. The audio is a little bit distorted. Not there's a whole lot you can
I
do
think
about that, but
it's yeah, it's the Wi-Fi here. I can try hotspotting from my phone and see if that'll help it.
yeah, just getting
But go
some
ahead.
feedback there. Yeah, so I could handle chat here. Stratic, it was good while it lasted. Yes, it was. It was a fun 3 game run there. But yeah, I mean, definitely back to some of the old problems. But Reno, right back at it tomorrow. I think that's really good. In the schedule that they have another chance to get back to where they were. Let's see, Ty, ladies and gentlemen, Dylan has left Seattle. Yes, you can see the effects there on the ice. Dylan's like,
Well, the crack
yeah, the Kraken have also left Seattle.
combination.
Um, let's see, Braun. I honestly really mostly watch the games for Maddie at this point, and it's a good time. It really is. Like, still watching Maddie and all the different things that he does, it's worthwhile. It's certainly worth tuning in, even for a game like this where you don't get the best effort out of the Kraken.
Yeah, and we're just like running out of good things to say about it too. Like, I don't even know what to break down anymore. We've already done it so many times. Like, he's so consistent and so solid fundamentally that it's just this is just who he's going to be.
Yep. No, absolutely.
It's pretty great.
Let's see, where were we? Christopher.
Chris,
Yeah, go. Go ahead, Dylan.
yeah, I was gonna say, hopefully this is better.
Yeah, it
Christopher,
is.
good start. Yay, body. Ugh, everything else. Yeah, lots of ugh on this one. And again, it's encouraging to see these starts. Like, that's better than anything we've seen through most of the year. It's just, this was the first game since Maddie's been up, and they've been able to have the lines kind of be what they want them to be. That it hasn't kind of had that same effect of being able to, you know, roll out the Gord line and it gets its thing done. I thought the Wenberg line was what was really off tonight.
Yeah, it was interesting on the lineup sheet. The official lines they sent out to everyone. They had Wenberg as at left wing and Rask at center. Yeah, I thought that was kind of
It
odd
didn't
looking at it. No, no, it definitely didn't look that way on the ice. But yeah, that line was kind of off. Just kind of looked disjointed, but pretty much the whole game.
Yeah, and Wenberg almost looked disinterested. Like, like can you tell me anything he did other than go to the box that one time? Like,
No, I barely noticed that he played tonight.
yeah, so wasn't happy with that because I thought we were past those days, but I guess not. Gregory Beniers 5 for 5, baby. I know it's great and gonna be so much fun to watch him next season compete for a Calder.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, get the campaign started already. Beniers for Calder. Yeah, as soon as next season starts, he's got to be one of the favorites, if not the favorite.
Yeah, there's no way he's not. Braun, he's a playmaker with a shot and is fun to watch. I'm ready to fall in love. Go for it, Braun.
Yep,
Just go
trust
for
your
it.
heart. You
Yep.
won't get hurt this time.
Leanne, what the hell was that? Beyond, ugh. It was Kraken hockey.
I was
Woo.
gonna say, are you gonna say that? It's the Kraken hockey that we learned to know and love from all season before these 3 games. We're all quite familiar with it.
Yeah, it was brutal, brutal nights. It's just I don't know. It's just what happens when they're not on it.
Hmm.
Um, this is not a team of the level of some of these playoff teams, like the Wild are. And so if they're not going to be on it with the hustle plays and especially playing smart, limiting turnovers, limiting defensive mistakes, such as both defensemen following one forward on one side of the ice,
That play
uh,
was brutal. That
it
play,
was
I
unbelievable.
just
Like,
textbook. Both guys just chasing the puck carrier while the other guy goes free. And I mean, Eriksson Ek even tried to help out however much he could. He tried to get tangled up with the defenseman there. And Susie, I think it was Susie, was just not having it. He just
no,
like, no, I need to go to the other guy.
yeah, it was unbelievable lack of communication. I mean, that's the stuff we would teach the new squirts.
Yes.
Like the squirt players that had played before knew better than that. Like that was just something you teach the newcomers down there, and it was just it was horrendous that play. And then just like I said, letting guys get lost behind you, especially on the PK. It's like the one thing you really can't do, and they just seemed committed to doing it tonight.
Yep. I all night it's amazing how they have these games where they're 0 for 3 like 0 for 4 on the PK. It feels just more condensed even than most teams have. Sometimes we have bad nights on the PK, but it feels like the Kraken just have the capability of being so bad.
So bad. Like, um, Stratic, the team should have expensed Dylan out there. Yeah, I would have accepted that.
Yep.
Put me on the charter with everybody. Let's go. Hey, there's
He's
still
fun to
time.
travel with too. Like it'd be a win for everyone.
Yeah, there's still time. Get me on a flight out to Dallas, guys. Let's go. Reading ID, Maddie with the streak, Yanni and Carson, the Kraken can do that. Still a lot to love tonight. How about that play for the Yanni Gord goal, getting it done? How about him actually shooting at the appropriate time?
Yes. I mean, as much as they were trying to fit as many one-touch passes as you can into a 2-on-1, it seemed like they're almost running a drill there. Like, how many times can you do this? But yeah, he shot it at the right time, and the puck was kind of bouncing on him too. He did not have a whole lot of leeway there, and that's a tougher shot than it looks like. Just fantastic play from Gord and Kuhlman. The chemistry between the two of them. It's amazing how it's just picked up right where the Gord Blackwell thing left off.
Yeah, it really is. It's been special to watch, and I liked it because they had enough time to do it. The Wild defenseman that was back was content to just let them pass for whatever reason. Like I don't. That's not at all what I would teach a defenseman to play that way. But they weren't getting in close. Like so many times we've seen the Kraken try to make that one last pass, but it's like they're already at the crease. Like where is this pass supposed to go? But in this case, it was appropriate. You're coming down. You're passing those little hash marks for the dot and for the face-off circle, and that's the place to actually shoot it. You have the goalie significantly confused, so it's all good. One thing I want to bring up with the Matty Beniers goal. So obviously he gets it on that power play that was gifted by the refs because they could see what was happening in this game. Do you have
Game
issue
management.
when? Yeah, I was gonna say, do you have issue when refs do stuff like that?
Yeah, I don't like it. I mean, we kind of talked about game management in the past, and it's something that a lot of prominent people kind of have issues with. Of calling penalties just based on the situation in the game, try and get team back in it. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah, because I go back and forth. Like I don't have issues in blowouts like this, and I think I said this before when we talked about it because it does keep the product better in the sense like you have people who paid a lot of money potentially to be there or they traveled a long distance, so you want to get the game kind of competitive at times, or you want to have both teams have chances to go. And obviously tonight, I mean, without that, Maddie doesn't get the goal and doesn't continue the streak. So we have, lots of rooting interest in it, at least those of us on this side of things. So I just wanted to throw that out there, maybe get some people's thoughts about that in chat. Let's see. Sergeant Pickles, after only being able to watch the second period, I feel like I have a very different impression of this game.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
the 20 minutes that mattered. I mean, if you play like that over 20 minutes and give up 5 goals in a period, you're going to lose no matter what you do in the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're the Florida Panthers.
Yeah. Yes, in which case you could just come out and score 9 in the third or whatever and you'll win. You'll be fine. But yeah, no, it wasn't great. And really the first period wasn't that great for the Kraken either. Like they started off strong, but it wasn't like they were dominant or anything. Like they got some good puck luck.
Yeah, I mean,
Things
they were
could have gone
gifted a goal on the first one, obviously, and then the second one, great finishing, great play, but it's one goal.
Right, but then they had puck luck in their own zone too. The Wild were whiffing on some stuff, or Gru was getting lucky. So it was just one of those like you could just feel like, all right, if the Kraken don't like kind of wake up here and take control of this, it's going to go bad. And sure enough, they didn't, and it went bad. Brian, I don't think that was great effort, a defense effort, a couple bad goals given up by Gruby when he probably should have been pulled, but considering tomorrow's game, he remained. Maddie delivered. Yeah, it's like the worst position to be in if you're Grubauer and Hackstall, because we all know that he needs to be pulled to kind of try to wake up this team if you want to try to salvage it. But again, you can't essentially take that risk because then who do you start tomorrow?
Right.
You start Drieger after he's had to come in and try to do this, and then he's got to travel a decent ways too. It's not like Dallas is right next door or anything. It was just a horrible spot to be in. You hate to see it, and that's the stuff that we were seeing when the season first started. If anybody else can remember back to October, to remember some of those games like that Flyers game, I think that was the situation with that first Flyers game. It was like 4 games into the season. And we had to pull Grubauer, and then Drieger had to start that night. It finished that game and then start the next night, or that was after Drieger had played the night before or something. And it was just a nightmare.
Yeah, you absolutely don't want to do that. It's unless an injury or something forces you into it. I mean, unless, like I said, halfway through the game, unless things get really, really ugly, Grubauer was always going to go the distance tonight.
Yeah, exactly. And it's unfortunate because he'd been playing so much better as of late. Like he didn't deserve this, and I do think that some of these goals were on him. Like obviously, I'm not going to say all 6 goals were just like, oh, the defense just let him down, but
right.
he wasn't getting a lot of help either. Like it was one of those team effort nights.
Yeah, for sure.
Reading ID, Dylan with the grandpa internet speed tonight. Lol, that is for sure. Yes,
Oh, yeah.
the 92-year-old grandpa and the 88-year-old grandma, they don't exactly need those 5G speeds or anything up here. Striatic. It didn't help that the initial goals in this game did come easy, being more skilling it up type goals instead of lunch bucket goals. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of what the Kraken were using to be successful before, which was going to the net, right? Like over those games that I was there for, I was amazed how many times I was seeing the Kraken just go to the net, like, and get things done.
Yeah, I mean, you look at those first 2 goals. I mean, credit Donskoy's forecheck on the first one, but there's just, they're not those kind of greasy goals. They kind of stopped with those habits once it looked like, oh, we're going to be able to get goals, without doing that stuff. We don't have to put in kind of the really hard work. We don't have to get cross-checked in the back. We can score without doing that kind of stuff. But turns out you can't do it consistently enough, and then also you have to play defense.
Yeah. And how about who was that one player though that was kind of net front and had an opportunity or two? You happen to remember?
Who was that?
Oh, I was being facetious. Do you not remember?
Yeah, no. There was one. Okay, that was the Shane one. We're like, how the heck did that stay out? But
yeah, because it was Victor Rask who apparently listened and decided not to play at the side of the net, but actually play in front of the net. And he had one great tip almost go in, and another he was there potentially for a rebound after it was tipped by a Wild defenseman, and Flower had to make a big save. So I'll just throw that out there for Striatic because it was a Striatic comment.
Dylan's every game Rask report. This is what we're getting.
Hey, how about them changing so he got an assist in that last game, so he was up to a 4-game point streak.
Oh, nice. There you go.
Yeah. So I mean, it ended tonight, but for the second time, the point streak has ended. Um, all right, X Kid Z, another point for Beniers, so there's that. Point per game in his first 5 starts, up there with Gretzky numbers so far. Lol, that's true. One off the great ones record there.
Yep. Yep.
For most points to start your career with an expansion team. Um, yeah, only needs one more. He could do it. Like he's getting the opportunities, he's getting the time, and he's smart enough. Like you can just tell when he's out there that there are times where you almost expect the Kraken to score, and just because he's making things happen, the way he moves around in the offensive zone, just putting them in positions to be successful.
Yeah, and so consistently.
Mm-hmm. Striatic got the team in completely the wrong mindset. Yeah, I mean, I will say this. I am very happy I don't have to go to the press conferences after
I
this
know,
one.
right? I feel like they might be a little short today.
Yeah, I
Certainly
don't
the
even know.
smaller traveling party. Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't even know what player do they even bring out after this one? Like Gord, I guess.
This feels like a game where they would trot Yanni out there and just, have him suck it up and answer some questions.
Yeah, it does. Brian, our first goal wasn't skilling it up. It was Marc-Andre Fleury effing it up. That is true.
Yep.
It was a kind of a pretty big mistake there that he did. But you know what? That's one of the things that makes him great is he didn't let it get to him. I guess I'll give him props on that.
Yeah. I mean, mentally he's as strong as they come.
Yeah, and the Wild didn't let it get to them either, which is impressive because I don't know that we could say the same thing about the Kraken this year.
Exactly. Yeah, especially after the second goal, the way that happened too. I mean, they're just it looks like now they're getting skilled all over here, and we've seen that situation just kind of get to the Kraken a lot this season when they've gone down 2-0. Feels like it's happened a lot.
Yeah. Let's see. Sergeant Pickles, did they just get beat by a superior team? This is honestly how I was expecting Colorado to go. That is basically what happened. They didn't, like I said earlier, if you're going to play a team that is better than you, you have to show up. And they showed up for Colorado, and they did not show up for this game.
Yeah, well said. I mean, this could have happened against Colorado if they had given a similar effort. But as the Colorado game showed, these teams are beatable. You can beat them if you play the right way, but you've got to do it consistently and you've got to do it all game. Because if you slip up for even that 10, 15-minute stretch, like in the second period, they will bury you and you'll have no chance to get back into it.
Exactly. Tie 16-1-3 in their last 20. Needless to say, Wild are playoff ready. It's the Marc-Andre Fleury effect.
Oh man, that Cam Talbot erasure there. I think Cam Talbot's probably got a lot of those wins too.
He does, but it's just, having him in the building, having him around, it's just a boost to morale, gets everybody going. I mean, even though, like, because I totally give it to Cam Talbot. He has been in there for more of those than Flower has, but that's the move that they made, and look at what it's done for him.
Come on, Dylan. Can just one player arriving make that big a difference on a team? Have we ever seen that?
I have no idea. If only the Kraken could ever one day have something happen to them like that. Uh, you think Vegas is kind of kicking themselves they didn't go out and acquire Flower at the deadline?
I don't think they could have. I don't think. I don't think Fleury would have done that.
If they had traded more players with no trade clauses, they could have.
Yeah, yeah.
That was their problem, is that they stopped at only trying to do it once.
Exactly.
Brian, oh, Minnesota is superior, no doubt. I see them in the Western Conference Finals. Wow, they got a tough road to get there.
But it wouldn't surprise me. I think whoever wins that St. Louis Minnesota series is going to win their next series as well.
Probably. They both feel pretty good. I might give the slight edge to St. Louis. I feel like they're deeper. Like we saw tonight.
I would too.
Minnesota's kind of like Calgary in the sense that, like, okay, yes, you have an amazing top line, but like if somebody was able to shut down that top line, what do you got? You know what I mean?
You got goaltending, and that's what's going to have to get them through.
Yeah, they do. Ty Dillon on dial up, yeah. Ty, I was going to ask that next season counts as Maddie's official rookie season, correct? Yes, because I believe the cutoff's what, 36 or 41 games
I thought it was like
for called.
25 or something. Maybe it's 35. I don't know.
Okay, there's a bunch of different cutoffs. That's why it's all confusing because you have the like whole 9 game thing for the burning of the year, and then of
Right.
course Maddie got complicated with all of the aged out stuff. Yeah, I think you're right. It is 25 for the Calder for that, and then there's another one about 41 games counting towards an official thing too.
Yeah, is that the
As far
UFA years,
as
accrued season?
yeah,
But
there's
anyway,
all sorts
yes.
of
Matty Beniers, that will be his rookie season next season.
yeah. He's not going to get in enough games this year.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a lot of fun. Going to be a lot of fun. Ty, is there anything really worth going over with film for this game? Lol, just dump it and move on, or set them all in there and rub their noses in it. Lol, I might do that if I was in charge of the defense. Just be like, what the heck is this, guys? Like we were past this.
Yeah, show some film from tonight and then the Colorado game, and just be like, look.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, on the plane, kind of stick them in the Clockwork Orange chair and just like make them watch it. Like, why are you doing this? Like, why?
Oh, that's a strategy.
I don't know. I'd be so mad if I was if I was one of the coaches right now watching that. Sergeant Pickles, bad for our draft odds, but Kraken's still 9-8 in their last 17. Yeah, I mean they've figured a lot of things out, and I think that is important. It's going to be so interesting to see how much of it can carry through the off season, because I know Hackstall's talked about setting the foundation for things and all that kind of stuff, but it's hard to keep that going when everybody's going to leave the building in a week and a half and not show up again until September. Like it's really hard to keep anything going.
I don't think there's a whole lot like X's and O's, kind of quote unquote more tangible stuff that you can really bring forward to next season. It's just too much time. But I do think it is important to get that mindset just changed a little bit as far as what the team's capable of. I mean, before this stretch, going into the trade deadline, I mean, there's this kind of big, unwritten sign like, we are losers. You know what I mean? And everyone knows it. And I think changing that narrative even just a little bit is going to help a long way, not just for like attracting free agents or whatever, but I think that's something that you go into training camp with that mindset of, okay, who are we going to be? What are we capable of doing? And it changes that equation a little bit.
Yeah, and it's you're building new emotions and memories for the buildings and the facilities and everything. And I think that's important too, especially for somebody like a Philip Grubauer, right? Just to get all that bad taste out of your mouth from being there through all that rough stuff, to be able to come in next year and remember good times and remember that, you know what, yes, I struggled, but I was able to work through it here. You know what I mean? And kind of have that mental stability and confidence just being around. And I think that's going to be important for everybody too, not just a goaltender, but just getting everybody, used to those kinds of things.
Yep.
Ty pointing out, yeah, just don't ride buses with Dylan. Lol.
That's a good tip.
It is a good tip. Certainly not after you've been picked first overall in a draft. It's probably not a good idea to get on a bus with me. Just it's a 1-for-1. It equals a crash. So far, bat 1,000 on that. Reading ID, a lot to love. Maybe overstating it, to be honest. But those were things that excite me for the future. Maddie, obviously, and I literally cannot remember seeing the Kraken pull off that give and go. Yeah, I mean, it was a fantastic play. I loved seeing it. It was a nice skill play. It showed off the chemistry between Gord and Kuhlman, and as we said earlier, Maddie just all day.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do think that give and go with Kuhlman and Gord does really fall in the category of who are these guys? This is a different team, before that switch kind of flipped back. But it certainly felt like one of those special things that would not have happened previously.
Right. What do you think happens with Kuhlman now in the offseason?
Oh, I think they've got to qualify him for sure. I mean, I think they'll probably get a deal worked out. I think he's certainly played his way into a contract. I mentioned that a few times, I think, in the last couple post games before you arrived. But I think Carson Kuhlman has definitely played his way into a contract offer. I know depth spots are going to be, rarer on the team going forward. With the offseason acquisitions, you're going to have a lot of competition there. But I think he's definitely earned his way into that competition. And seeing his chemistry with Yanni Gord, too, because Yanni's going to be around. To have a guy you can put on that wing and they can find some magic together, I think is just going to be worthwhile and certainly cheaper than trying to bring Blackwell back.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that is going to be interesting is, he's for sure, I think, earned a spot in camp next year for sure. And I think with a really good chance of making the roster. But is he going to be in a top 6 role again with Yanni Gord? Because like you want to bring him back just to play with Gord, given the chemistry there and given how well they've played together. But again, are you going to bring in Carson Kuhlman after qualifying him at 26 rather than potentially a free agent that you're going to go out and spend, a lot of money on?
Right, but I don't think he necessarily has to be in that top 6 role with Yanni Gord, depending on who else you bring in. I mean, if you bring in, kind of enough talented wingers, if you're looking at maybe moving Jared McCann to center and you go Beniers, McCann, and Gord down the middle and kind of really commit to Gord, and that line being a shutdown kind of line, and let's say go, Gord, Tanev, and Kuhlman, those 3 together, and you kind of play it like you almost have 2 second lines, you know what I mean? And distribute a little bit more evenly ice time wise. I think that could work. I mean, if you're looking at kind of that pair of Gordon Tanev and then throw Kuhlman with it.
Yeah, so the Kraken should redo what they did this year, where they spread out ice time evenly and everybody's all over the place and it's a big jumbled mess.
Like Beniers 22 minutes and then McCann like I don't know.
I'm just saying, like, they played their best hockey when they weren't doing that finally. So the idea of going back to it is just like, oh no.
Right. Or I mean, you could load things up. I think that's also kind of the way to go is you load things up in the regular season. And then if you get to the playoffs, you spread things out because that's going to make it harder matchup wise. So maybe that's the way you do it. But I think Kuhlman can still be useful in that bottom 6 role. Certainly, as much as anyone you'd bring in for that kind of money.
Agreed. I just worry about him getting kind of lost in the shuffle the way we've seen a lot of guys be lost in the shuffle down there.
It's true. And he's not the only one they brought in for that spot. You look at Austin Czarnik, who they brought in and then lost. Guys can get lost in the shuffle for sure.
Yeah, we've seen Donskoy, Sprong, Geeky. You know what I mean? Like it's a long list of people who have been lost down there. So that's something I'm concerned about with it. But it's going to be interesting. And I've really come around. I don't want McCann at center.
Okay. Fair enough. I understand. Like it's working really well on the wing with Gord, and certainly in the regular season when it's best to kind of stack things like that. In the playoffs, I might look at it, but in the regular season, probably not.
Yeah, and they got to figure out that top unit power play too, because having McCann on the one side, like with no ability to shoot, like tonight, you got to figure something out. Not good. Hunter, who is better at this current moment, Beniers or Owen Power? All right. Well, I have not seen Owen Power play more than like 3 minutes for Buffalo, so I can't really comment. That being said, I don't hear about him starting off his career with points in 5 straight games.
Yeah, it's tough to compare because they're very different players. Obviously, one's a defenseman, one's a center. But I think I certainly would rather have Beniers if I was, just talking about who to add to my franchise going forward. I mean, even if just for the positional value. But yeah, I'd go with Beniers.
Yeah, I think Beniers. Ty, dang, threw the rookie to the Wolves after a big time beatdown. Media went soft though. This is where you put Ebbs and Gord out there and let the potential captains take it. Wow, so they threw Beniers out there?
Really?
They were just trying to put it up, I guess.
Okay. Interesting.
But I agree with you, Ty. That's Eberle Gord territory.
Yeah, 100%. I'm really surprised to see Beniers thrown out there.
That being said, if ever a rookie could handle it, it's Matty Beniers, clearly.
Oh, for sure. And they know that.
Yeah. But it does feel like, well, here, to distract you from what just happened, here's like the shiny new toy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like, no, we're going to try to be accountable for this. It was like, no, we're going to try to hope everybody forgets what just happened.
Yeah, agreed.
Peter, seemed like the big boys in Alexiak, Susi, Larson had a really hard time with their speed. Should we make a run for Klingberg? You want to start on that one?
I do think it's a good observation there that the defenseman did have some trouble with the Wild speed. I mean, that is, something that they've had issues with in the past this season. No, I don't think Klingberg is the answer. I don't think he really helps you at all with that problem. I mean, he's a good, good puck mover, good, power play quarterback in the offensive zone, that sort of thing. He doesn't help you with that issue, and he is going to be way overpaid this offseason. He is, one of the biggest traps you can get into free agent wise, just because there is nobody else on that top end right hand D market this summer. So no, buyer beware.
Yeah, it's going to cost a lot to add him. I don't know how much of a trap it'll be because like if you're a team in a position to give him the ice time that he can eat up, it's not going to be as bad as if the Kraken were to sign him. Like the, like they'd be misusing him all over the place just because of how many defensemen they have. So it's kind of a different situation than some other teams. But I will say that yeah, no, he would not fix that. That's just something that the guys have to play smarter. You have to understand if you're going to be outmatched speed wise and adjust defensively. And we've seen that Alexiak Susi thing just not be able to adjust to it this year at all.
Yeah, agreed. And on Klingberg, yeah, he will improve the on ice result, but wait till he signs a Dougie Hamilton, Darnell Nurse contract, and basically making whatever level of play he's going to bring unjustifiable with that deal.
Oh, come on. He's not going to hit Seth Jones level, though.
I know. That's even much for him. Oh man, that one broke the market.
Yeah. Ty, add Fleury to your list. He was chasing all night too. Saw lots of eights. That's what I'm telling you. That's what I was seeing. You never want to see
right.
defenseman's because that means somebody's behind him, and that you just don't want to see it. Reading ID, still with the future glasses on. Riker Evans and Joey D got another win with the Checkers tonight. Yeah, that's going to be, again, in a week and a half where all our eyes turn is going to be on Charlotte to watch this Checkers team. And how great is it to have Riker Evans officially part of the organization?
Yes, great to see that he signed his ELC and that it starts next year. That's obviously good for the Kraken cap wise and everything. And that he's still going to get to play some pro hockey, jump right into the playoffs with Charlotte. That's going to be really good for him, good for his development. It'll be something that's fun to watch. And Joey Decord, I mean, he's just been fantastic with Charlotte down there, stringing it together great game after great game. And it's going to make it a tough decision for the Kraken this offseason, certainly with him and Drieger, because you got to let one go.
I know, and we keep leaning the direction of, well, you got to get rid of Drieger. Like, you keep the younger, cheaper guy or whatever. Mm-hmm. At what point does Joey play his way into having more value?
I know, right? I mean, it'd be interesting to see, what the offers are going to be from other teams, but I just think given teams' preferences when you're trading for a goalie, you want someone who's proven to be an NHLer right now. I think if you're in the acquiring team, Decord might be the smarter acquisition, but can you take that risk if you need goaltending? If you're, say, the Oilers and need someone right now, I don't know that you can. You probably have to go with a guy like Drieger and are probably willing to pay a premium for it.
Yeah, I would, but that's why I'm no Ken Holland. I tend to make a lot of decisions I don't think he'd make. And he's
no shame
getting,
in that.
Yeah, I know. Striatic, what do you think about not changing the goal? Oh, the one last quick thing on the Riker Evans thing.
Yeah.
Did you see the amount of paperwork in front of him?
I saw the picture. I did not look at the papers in front of him.
If I'm not mistaken, it was a big fat stack. And I'm like, whenever they do like the ceremonial signing or whatever, they always hand him like that one sheet, like it's just obvious, nice and easy.
Right.
But in this, he's got like a book in front of him. What's going on?
He does. That's a lot of pieces of paper there. And I know the standard entry level player contract is probably, longer than just the one sheet they give you to sign for the photo. But yeah, they did put it all out in front of him. Maybe he wanted to read the whole thing. I mean, good for him. He should.
Yeah, I mean, he looked like a pretty serious guy in that photo.
Mm-hmm.
But I was surprised. I was like, okay, because you go back and you look at the Matty Beniers one, and it's just like, oh yeah, come in. Here's this little sheet of paper that we're both going to sign, and it makes you an NHL player. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's how contracts work. Um, but yeah, just wanted to point that out really quick.
Yeah.
Stratic, what do you think about not changing the goalie? It isn't fun that being on back to back can prevent making needed changes at the most critical position. I agree. It's just a crummy situation to be in, but it's the one they found themselves in, and I have no problem with the decision Hackstall made.
Exactly. It's unfortunate, but that's the reality of the situation, and leaving Grubauer in there is better than the alternative.
Yeah. All right. Sergeant Pickles got two questions for us. First up, chances Riker Evans makes the opening night roster next year. I put them at around 75%.
Okay. Okay.
And that's before seeing him play for Charlotte in a playoff scenario. I think it's going to be really high.
Uh, Again, I'm optimistic about him. I think he's going to do really well. As for opening night, I'd still put it around 45%. He certainly will, I think, get some time with the Kraken. I just think they might feel it's more beneficial for him to start off in Charlotte and then earn that call up.
Yeah, maybe, but like you're talking what you're gonna have Kale Fleury out there instead.
Well, again, we'll see what they bring in free agent wise. That's going to make the big difference. We'll see how the blue line stacks up. But I think we'll be able to tell that through the first few days of free agency. I think looking at that roster going into training camp, you're going to be able to tell how much they're going to want him on the opening night roster or not, whether they've left that spot for him or not.
Exactly. And then the second question from Sergeant Pickles: chances that Matty Beniers gets an A.
Ooh, next
That
season.
one, I know that one. I might go a little lower, like 35%,
That
because
sounds
obviously,
about right to me.
because I think they're gonna move somebody up to get captain. Whether it's Gord or Eberle, whoever it is,
Yep.
somebody's going to be captain. But I don't know that they're gonna fill that blank A spot, right away.
Right. And if they do, I know they've got, let's see. So we've got, because they rotate it, right? So there were six alternates this season. If that is that correct? Or no,
Yeah,
there's the captain and four alternates.
no, because it was Eberle, Gord, Schwartz, Larson, and did Alexiak get one?
I don't think so. I think it was just those four alternates because it was the captain. You obviously you got Geo, right? And then you can have max two alternates per game. So there's two alternates home, two away. So yeah, obviously Geo's gone, so one of those guys is going to be promoted. But that just leaves one A spot. Was Tanev?
No, Tanev was not.
So like he
I'm
might.
looking at.
I just
Yeah,
think there are other options they might go with instead.
yeah. I think Beniers is the future of that.
Yes.
Like, if when Eberle or Gord ages out or their contract runs up, Beniers is your captain. But until then, I don't think that there's a big rush for that right away.
Yeah, agreed. And again, it's still going to be his first real full season. I don't know that although apparently if they're sending out to the media today, they don't mind him taking on that part of the role. I mean, that probably bumped up the odds, 5 to 10% in my opinion, just knowing that from tonight. So maybe they do.
I was gonna say, how about this? And it's hard without knowing what's going on behind closed doors. I would say if he has a letter on his chest next year, it's gonna be a C. I'd put the chances of it being a C higher than an A.
Really?
We've seen it before. Go look at
Landeskog, is
like,
that what you're thinking?
yeah, because he just came in and they were just like, this kid's culture, like it's just different. He just instantly changes culture, and we know he'll be able to handle it. And the older guys can just be the assistants around him and kind of help him into that role. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, hey, that's a take. But it's not one we haven't seen before. I mean, it'll be really interesting to watch what the leadership situation is and how that shapes up. It's going to be a fun training camp to cover.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Ty, Wild versus Blues will be a series to watch for sure. I think it's going to be, arguably the best of the first round outside
Yep.
of whatever happens in the Atlantic. The two teams stuck in the middle there.
Yeah.
Most likely Tampa, Toronto. That's going to be fun too.
Yeah, those two series.
Sergeant Pickles, for this year's playoff bracket, I will pick my nightmare scenario so that way I either have teams I like advancing or I'm winning the bracket. It's a solid way to go. In my experience, though, when I try that, I just end up, kind of somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, I've done that before, and I've ended up somewhere in the middle where, it looks so good until you get to
So
the conference finals, and then Vegas, Vegas doesn't win.
yeah. What a shame, RJ.
I'm
Hunter, the
happy.
roster turnover is going to be crazy. I don't know. I think there's not going to be that much because really off forward wise we're just looking at what the bottom six kind of getting shuffled around because you have Tanev coming back and I think that'll solidify some things. We know we want Donato back. Kiki's probably getting a qualified. Lind is coming back. I would think at this point, given he's the one guy they don't really scratch anymore.
Right.
And then Coolman now. I don't know how much turnover there's going to be, and then essentially one defenseman spot.
Right. I think you're just going to see that big name forward acquisition, one or two of them, and that's going to bump a lot of these bottom six guys down the lineup. And then it's going to kind of be a free for all in training camp as to who can earn that spot. You're going to basically get a lesser spot, pretty much everyone, than you did the year before because there's going to be guys coming in on top of you.
Agreed. Ty, have to say, another tip of the hat to the Wild. They adjusted to the early oops and flat out destroyed us. This is what playoff teams do, and they did it a bit too well. Well, I agree with that, Ty. They got it done. Good for them
Yep.
after a split like that. Joey, I think it's important for us to finish strong. Future is bright with Maddie, and we need to have a strong draft. And I think better to have our AHL team closer to Seattle also. I think that's going to help out a lot, having a full AHL team too that you can kind of load up with prospects and players and stuff. I think that's just going to be fun for everybody involved, really. Make us really start feeling like a true organization there, RJ, when we're not just got 30 guys under contract.
Exactly. I mean, I saw this Checkers Twitter post, and I think it was just an intermission score update or whatever. And it had Alex True leaning in for a face-off, and you could see the uniform and the shoulder patches. The shoulder patches for the Checkers are Florida Panthers logos. On both
hmm
sides. It'll be nice to kind of have an AHL team that is actually kind of part of your organization.
Yeah, for sure. Ty Cooley has done a lot of detailed plays like we see from Lars. His forecheck powered by his speed is tough on teams. He has consistently been someone I have noticed game after game since probably the trade deadline. I'd agree with that. I mean, we talk every post game about him basically, so that tells you everything you need to know right there. And then also from Ty, Lind was doing pretty decent in the last few as well. See that kid all over the place. Number one when it comes to denting the crossbar, lol.
He finds the
Um,
post like no one else. It's
yeah, it's there's got to be some joke about having a magnetic personality or something in there.
I like that.
Joey Gord needs to be captain for next season. I mean, I think that's how most people want it at this point. It seems like.
Yeah, it definitely does feel that way. I mean, from what we see on Twitter and what we hear from fans, that's kind of seems like the favorite for him.
Um, yep, Maddie was first out there for media. It's interesting. Hunter, random painful fact: Tanev tore his ACL in December and is still eighth on the team in goals.
Oh man.
He was off to a hot start. He was.
He was. I mean, that's, good showing on his part. That's hard to do, finish in the top 10 in goals when you don't play past December. But yeah, it does speak to kind of the lack of goal scoring the Kraken have, and they definitely need some more.
Yeah. All right. Someone we haven't talked about too much got back-to-back Sprong comments here. First up, Striatic. I want Sprong back next year, but I'm not sure Francis does. He's been showing good stuff every game, including this stinker. And then from Ty, Sprong can shoot and we need scorers. He often finds himself in good places, yet has struggled catching passes in a few games. I like him as well, bigger body forward that knows how to use Ovi's office. So where do you stand on Daniel Sprong coming back?
Okay, Daniel Sprong is the type of player that I really like because I see the potential and I see what he's capable of. And he's got some of those game breaking qualities that most bottom six guys don't have. And so, if it was me in charge, I would want to bring him back. And it's not like it's going to be an expensive or a risky deal or even term or anything. I mean, he's not going to cost much to bring back if you want to do that. But he's also the type of player that I think a lot of coaches and maybe some GMs are not the most fond of that that they tend to like more 200-foot players, guys who are a little bit more consistent defensively, can catch passes a little better even if they don't have that kind of game-breaking offensive skill. So it would not surprise me if he wasn't brought back, even though I would support it.
Yeah, so I was with you through everything that you said at the beginning there, but
Okay.
with the one caveat of yes, I see all the skills, see all the potential, but he's the kind of guy that you're going to be chasing that potential forever. It's never going to coalesce. He's never going to turn into a 30 goal scorer despite having the shot of a 30 goal scorer. And I think we know that about him at this point in his career because he would have done it by now. It would have stuck at some point with some team. Um, and maybe I'm just old school, but I think if you're gonna have a bottom six, you make it a bottom six, and you make it guys that are gonna go out there and be solid two-way. Yes, you need depth scoring for sure, but you need to build it out like a Tampa did, or really look at any Stanley Cup winning team of the last decade. Look at what their bottom six has. They don't have guys like Daniel Sprong. You know what I mean? Like it's if he's not good enough to crack your top six, playing the way he does, I don't know that he has a spot on your team.
Yeah, I think the issue with Sprong is that you don't hope that the offensive stuff clicks consistently and he's a 30 goal scorer. You hope that maybe the defensive game gets to be good enough where, he's not a liability in his own end. And then that extra scoring ability is something that you can have in the bottom six that other teams don't. But I mean, I'm with you as far as, yeah, in general, you look at these cup winning teams, they have a bottom six that can shut people down. They have Carson Kuhlman's, not Daniel
Mhm.
Sprong's.
Right, because it's with Sprong, it's not just even his own zone. It's he needs to forecheck too. Like there's a
Yeah.
lot of work that would need to go in there, and if at the age of what is he 25, it's
Mm-hmm.
not there, it's not gonna magically come out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I'm
Okay.
still going to be chasing my Daniel
I
Sprong, Austin Wagner, Great White Whale forever. It'll happen at some point.
was gonna say Austin Wagner. Yes, let's go. Joey Hunter, that just shows Kraken need goal scorers in the draft and free agency. Please keep Joey Decor. I hope they do too. Stratic, hey, don't slag Darnell, 41st in scoring amongst D-men. Nurse, he's actually pulling a lot of weight in this Oilers resurgence. I got no problem with paying a top defenseman that way if you're going to give them the ice time that they can handle and they can make it happen. And Darnell Nurse is that for the Oilers. Like he can go out there and chew up 25 minutes a night and not have bad things happen. The problem is he's never had a defensive partner and he's never had a goaltender. So at some point he's just kind of screwed.
That's true. He is hard to evaluate given those last two facts.
Yeah, Stratic. I would take him on the Kraken at 9 mil in a heartbeat. It's an overpay, but the Kraken need a guy like him. And if that's the price, I don't know. I'd still rather like do what the Kraken are doing and get guys like Larson, Susie, kind of mid-range guys, and try to build out with depth. So you can just roll out three pairs that can all play 15 plus minutes or whatever. I think I might try that personally, than spend it all on one defenseman. Um, that being said, there have been times this year, like if you don't get those guys right, it becomes a nightmare because how do you move? Like if Alexiak continues to play like this, he's not worth what the Kraken are paying him, and it's an unmovable deal because he makes just enough to not be attractive as like a deadline target. You know what I mean? Like you
Right.
can if you get those mid tier contracts wrong, they are killers.
Yeah, they are. And I also think you generally get better value devoting that money to forwards too. If you're going to spend a little extra, it's going to go further for you.
Exactly, because I think a lot of times you can fix defensemen with coaching. I
Mm-hmm.
really do. If you're on them each and every day and you really work with them, you can get your defense solid and playing a way that's going to help you win. Brian, I'm with Ty. I saw way too much of 8 tonight. Riker will win a spot at camp regardless of our free agency ads. There we go. Ty pointing out Crosby got the C at 19. Yes, but he did have the A first
Mm-hmm.
from got that his rookie year. So I was thinking of try to just think of guys that just made that immediate jump. Did Taves make that immediate jump? I know he got one at 19 too.
I don't know
I
if
don't
it
know
was
that he had
immediate.
an A.
Yeah, he might not have.
So there is precedent there.
Yeah.
Potentially two people.
I know Taves and Beniers are, obviously different players, different personalities, but like how fitting scale 1 to 10 do you think like the nickname, Captain Serious for Beniers?
I don't know, because he's not. I don't
He's
know. He
not as
doesn't come
serious
off
as
as
Taves,
serious.
like that's for sure.
Yeah.
He's got a sense of humor. He can laugh, but like I
I
don't
don't know. Yeah, he's got more of a like naivete to him. You know what I mean?
know.
Like Taves just never had that.
Uh-huh.
Taves was just like a 40-year-old man, like from day one.
Right.
Uh, Brian, I'm still gun shy giving pups the C. Eric Stahl got the C early, and though not disastrous, not many would claim it was smart. Some talk there from Carolina. And I know what you're talking about there. Reading ID, last random thought on tonight. One, I really missed the shiny Marc-Andre Fleury. Love that he manifested the shiny gear outside of Vegas. And Larson smells. So yes, I like the shiny gear too, and that was an hysterical sign.
Yes.
Yeah, it was pretty great. Night all, I got to go get some comfort food. See you in St. Louis. Night reading ID and corrected to Dallas there. Yeah. Um, let's see, Ty, Bellows, McDavid, Crosby, Landeskog, all getting to see at 19 and getting it done. So, yeah, just the massive list here
Oh
from
yeah.
Cavalier, Taves, Iserman, Sheffield, Kachuk. Yeah. Um, all right, let's see. Ty, lol, Dylan trashes Sprong for not figuring it out at 25, but praises Rask at 29, who is a dud all over the league. Ha ha ha, wheels, bro. Hey, saying Victor Rask has always done the two or three good things that he does. They've always been there, and I do believe that those are more valuable in a bottom six than the three good things Daniel Sprong does.
All right, fair point. I mean,
And
it's
that presence is more important than having somebody on your second unit power play who can score 10 goals a year. You know what I mean? From being in that second unit power play spot. Like tell
yeah. I
me
mean,
that's not.
if you're a competitive team, neither of those guys should be on your second unit power play.
Well, yeah,
Which
probably.
then makes what Rask does at even strength more valuable, is what I'm saying.
Yes, exactly. See, there we go. We've successfully converted RJ. Um, Hunter, say it louder for Dylan Ty. Ty, I just give him a hard time about it often. Lol, he knows it's just fun. I do. It is pretty fun. And then Stratic pointing out Landeskog did make that immediate jump, and that Beniers reminds him a little bit of Landeskog. It reminds me of it too. Like I said, Colorado was in a place where they could do that, and I think the Kraken are in a place where they could do that too. Where it's hey, that year was rocky and it was not at all what we wanted. We're going fresh start, fresh face. The guy of the franchise, he has proved it in the NHL. You just go for it.
Yeah, that'd be fun. The more I think
Hey,
about
am I
it,
winning you over on this one like I did with Rask?
huh?
Am I winning you over on this one like I did with Rask?
I guess on that it wouldn't be such a bad idea. I still think it's not gonna happen, but
Yeah,
I don't know. I just think Eberle. I've got this feeling Eberle.
me too. Me too. And what are we looking at with Eberle's contract? You're looking at then 2 more years, and that seems appropriate. And then you give it to Maddie when he's what, 22?
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. Let's see. Hunter, Maddie is so humble, and that makes him even more likable to me. I agree. He's intelligent. He communicates well with the media. He's not afraid of answering questions and talking about things. I think that's very important. And yeah, just being humble. I mean, he's like the perfect kid. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Absolutely.
Ty, if you're competitive, neither of them are probably even here. Talking about Rask and Sprong, I think, and I agree. Like they're
Yeah.
probably not on the
Cup
Stanley
contenders
Cup.
don't have those guys on their roster.
No. Um, yeah, Brian pointed out nothing not to like about
Mm-hmm.
Maddie. I did see a good open ice hit from Maddie tonight. Ty pointing out that was a fantastic hit that he
Oh yeah, the one
leveled.
on Boldy.
Yeah,
That was nice. Playing the
that was
body. That's how you ought to do it.
super solid. And Maddie Beniers, solid, like foundationally, right? Like that was just a perfect, clean like hit against a guy.
Yep.
Just awesome.
Perfect
Textbook.
technique. Yep.
Ty, I still think we need to test this. Dylan, say some nice stuff about one of the up and comings so they do magic for a few games.
Go for it.
Who should I talk about?
All right, Chad. Who do you want him to bless here?
Yeah,
Let us know, Ty.
I need to know. I mean, Riker Evans, I could talk him up. How about Charlotte?
Yeah, there you go. Hmm.
Um, I mean, Donskoy, I gave him some love last game, and what happens? He's blessed with a flurry handed him an assist on a silver platter.
Yeah. There you go. All right, Cole Lind.
Well, Lind, yeah, I mean, I think as I was saying before, Lind has not like been shuffled out the way the other guys have, and that is because he plays solid through all three zones. We see him involved in the forecheck, and he's been there all year doing that. He gets involved in the back check about as much as you'd expect a young winger on a third line to. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's not great at it, but he's trying, and he does help out. He can put pressure on an opposing defenseman, and we all know the shot is there. It's not like a Sprong level shot where it's like just like, oh my gosh, he's got like, God-given talent or anything. But Lind does have a shot where he finds openings. He beats goalies. Like, I don't know if it's he hides it well. I got to pay more attention to it. I don't know if it's he hides his release well. He disguises it. He's good at shooting through traffic. But the fact that he hits as much iron as he does means he is getting it past the goaltender, and that's a start.
Yes. No, definitely. I mean, he's got this sneaky shot too. His release, I kind of went back and like looked at it slow motion. It's kind of hard to gauge, in just the sneaky way. You look at his first goal too. I don't know if he was like interfered with, the stick was interfered with a little bit, but there was no way the goalie was tracking that.
No, exactly. So it's been pretty good. So there we go. We'll see what happens there. Stratic, I guess I just don't see Sprong that bad on defense. I mean, do you see him on defense?
As much as I support Sprong, I'll say he's not good defensively.
Yeah. Joshua pointed out Evans and Lind. I have talked up Evans a ton too. We'll save his magic for tomorrow maybe.
Yeah.
And then Ty Lind's a good hype up guy. He's been doing some stuff for sure. Kitty be Kraken. Here we go. Haven't seen that name in a little while. Good to have you back. I love Maddie. He's so exciting for the Kraken, but we only have a very small sample size so far. When will we know what needs to happen to have confidence he's going to be a top NHL player? I don't know. I mean, I see enough of the little things and just his heads up plays and his ability to always end up where the puck is going, like all those kind of hallmarks of good NHL players. Again, not going to say he's going to be the next Crosby or anything, or he's going to stay a point per game guy forever, but there's enough there to say he's going to be a solid top six guy for a long time and certainly a potential top line forward.
Yeah, I think that's certainly fair to say at this point. I mean, at the NHL level, I feel like he's been so consistent through these first 5 games. I almost feel like I've seen enough, and especially because it's matched what I've seen from him at Michigan when I was watching him there. I mean, this guy's game just has not changed. It's the same way. You know exactly what you're getting every single game, and I have no reason to believe that that's gonna change.
Yeah, exactly. So until I see teams figure out how to stop him, which I don't know that you can, given how smart he is, like that, because that's what it ultimately is. If a guy just has a physical trait, you can find a way to stop him. But if a player is smart, they're going to continue to be well. Like, yes, they'll hit some lulls as they then have to like come up with something new or adjust,
Mm-hmm.
but they always find a way to adjust. And I think Maddie's going to be one of those guys.
Yep, agreed.
Ryan, now anybody miss Geeky tonight? Not really.
No, and not that the Kraken had a particularly good game, but no, I don't know that he really helps in this one.
No, I don't either. Hunter, when will Winterton sign? I heard he's been having a good season. He has been, but he'll still stay for another year in the OHL.
Yeah, and remember, he missed the entire season last season. He's going to need just a little bit more time for his development, and he's doing well, but just needs some more time.
Yeah, and then again, it's one of those, you just have 1,000 centers in this organization right now anyway. Like,
Yeah, I mean, what do you do with them? Yeah.
No. So Ty, I always miss Geeky, but it's because I watched him in the WHL. Lol. Do you see him on defense? I can't contest that one. Lol. And also from Ty, 5 games to go. If I have to pick a win, it's versus Vancouver, unless they are tied with Vegas in points. Lol. If Vegas makes the playoffs, no Panda is their demise. Well, you're gonna have some fun listening to our latest Red Glare podcast, there, Ty. I think.
Yes, definitely you are. We touch on that quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. That's for sure. And then Brian, I don't hate Geeky or Donskoy, but at the end of it all, that production doesn't move forward with the group. I agree, and that's the bottom line. Like in some ways, I think Geeky potentially has played his way out of Seattle.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, at a certain point, you just need to produce more offensively. I like the things he does defensively. He's good at face-offs, but you just have to score more than that if you're going to be a productive bottom six piece. And he just hasn't, despite all the promise we saw early on. I mean, he's got those tools, but time is running out for him to put it together.
I was gonna say, what did I just say about physical tools, right? With the Matty B thing. Geeky has the shot. He has the physical tools to get it done. He's got the size, he's got the strength, he's got everything, but he just can't quite figure it out. You know what I mean? Like it does look like a lot of times in the offensive zone, he's playing a step behind.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, that's just not good enough. It's just to put it bluntly. Sorry. Ugh.
All right.
But
So I think we got to the end of chat there.
yeah, we did.
All right. And we are at the hour and 6 minute mark. Got that? Okay. I'm not getting that wrong again. So I think, yeah, probably last call for chat then.
Yeah, Ty stepped behind with the puck at his feet.
Yep.
Brian, brutal but right, Dylan. I know I don't like saying those kinds of things, but I'm a straight shooter. I'm going to say it how I see it. Joey, please Kraken win against Canucks to go winless against our biggest rival. Sucks.
Yeah, you got to get at least one against the Canucks.
You have to. That's like the one franchise first we still need for before the season ends, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just about everything else.
Yep, gotta have it.
See you, Gregory. Love you too. Ty, live tomorrow. No, the Vancouver game on Tuesday is going to be the live game commentary.
Yep, that'll be the one.
I'll be back down south for that one.
It'll go better. No grandparent Wi-Fi. Have a smooth connection. It'll go well.
Yeah. So should be fun.
All right.
Yeah.
So
I think
there it is. Good. Yep. All right. Thanks.
With chat after that one.
Yeah, I know, right? Yep. All right. Thanks everyone for joining us. We'll see. Quick turnaround. I mean, we'll see you all tomorrow after tomorrow's game. Hoping for a better one against Dallas. Kraken get back in the win column, and I think they will because that would give maximum help to Vegas, which it seems like that's what the Kraken are committed to doing. So I will take it for a Kraken win if that's what we can get.
All right. I'm really on you about this, man.
I know.
Closet Vegas supporter.
I am not. I would love nothing more than to be wrong about all of this, but we'll see how it goes.
All right.
All right. See you, everybody. Good night, everyone. See ya.